welcome back. Last time our protagonist was getting ready for the many offers coming his way to join a group. It all started with the Daehyun group, the powerhouse in construction, stepping up to the plate. Leading the charge was the dynamic Hoonjin Choi, manager of their external sales department. She kicked off the conversation with a bang, proposing an irresistible deal to win over Ji Cheok. To catch Ji Cheok's attention, she suggested a jaw-dropping down payment of 4 billion won. But that's not all. This contract would span 5 years, with a fantastic 85-15 ratio of items earned. And wait for it, Daehyun Group was even ready to support Ji Cheok's younger brother in pursuing a law degree at the prestigious K University. They weren't cutting any corners either, providing a generous housing allowance. Hold on tight because we're just getting started. Not to be outdone, the Jongha Group, renowned worldwide in their field, stepped up next. Jihan Jong, their charismatic representative, unveiled an offer that would make anyone's head spin. Brace yourself. Ji Cheok was promised a mind-boggling $8 billion in down payments. As if that weren't enough, they threw in a rare gemstone called a B-grade awakening stone, capable of awakening ordinary folks. Talk about unlocking hidden potential. With these tempting offers on the table, Ji Cheok found himself in a tough spot. He was unsure of his abilities and uncertain about which path to choose. However, our hero managed to keep his cool, drawing strength from the countless hunter corpses he had bravely collected. That's one way to maintain composure. But wait, the excitement doesn't end there. While Ji Cheok took some time to mull over his options and consult with his brothers, the participating companies were asked to summarize their contract terms. Before we continue, let's take a moment to answer the question of the day. If you could revive one deceased character from a Manhwa series, who would it be? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now back to the recap. In a room filled with anticipation, Jian Jiang handed his brother a contract that could awaken their dormant powers. But oh boy, that document was thick. Ji Cheok couldn't help but express his reservations. He wanted to protect his brother after all. Understanding his concern, Jihan Jiang reassured him, having already given Ji Cheok plenty of space to make his own choices. After some contemplation, Ji Cheok decided to take the plunge and signed the Awakener contract. And what a sweet deal it was. He received a whopping 8 billion won as a down payment, along with a shiny B-rank awakening stone. Suddenly, the future seemed full of possibilities. However, Ji Cheok wasn't quite sold on where to sign the contract after awakening. It was as if all the unfavorable terms magically disappeared. Maybe luck was on his side, and he could snag an even better A-rank contract. Before bidding Ji Cheok farewell, Jihan Jiang wished him all the best. And as a parting gift, he left Ji Cheok with a mysterious present, instructing him to open it upon his return. Excitement tingled in the air as the brothers prepared to leave. But wait, who's that? It's Hoonjin Choi, the manager of the external sales department at Daehyun. Did she come because of the contract? Ji Cheok had already signed with the Yunga group, but it seemed like she wanted to prevent any misunderstandings. Little did she know Jungga Group was the last place she wanted Ji Cheok to end up. Curiosity piqued. Ji Cheok asked Choi about her concerns and where they stemmed from. She explained that the company was currently embroiled in turmoil, and she worried it might be tough for Ji Cheok. To add to the intrigue, Young Jihan, their boss, was once dubbed the Jungga Group's maniac and had a mysterious past as the chairman's abandoned grandson. Ji Cheok's mind swirled with suspicions. While he had heard whispers about other company scions, he realized he knew little about Jung Jihan. Perhaps his sudden appearance after lying low for so long raised some red flags. If Ji Cheok still had a hot temper, things could get complicated. On the other hand, if he could handle it, well, that meant he was up for the challenge. As Hoonjin Choi's revelations sank in, fear crept into Ji Cheok's heart. Why hadn't Jihan Jiang and Ji Cheok himself mentioned any of this before the contract? The uncertainty was unsettling. After the unexpected conversation, Hoonjin Choi apologized for taking up his time and offered some advice, framing it as a senior hunter's concern. Ji Cheok couldn't help but oppose her, thinking she was merely worried about him. Before parting ways, Choi handed Ji Cheok her business card, just in case the contract went awry. She assured him that Daehyun Group would be there to offer better conditions if he needed it. Ji Cheok's brother, eager for answers, inquired about their conversation. Ji Cheok explained that Choi had given him the card as a precaution in case the contract was breached. It seemed like she was determined to recruit him, even after he had already signed. His brother's skepticism was palpable. Lost in thought, Ji Cheok absent-mindedly walked, his gaze fixed on the impressive building before him. He wondered if Jung Jihan truly had the intriguing backstory Choi had revealed, or if it was all just a mischievous joke. But right now, Jung Jihan looked like a handsome, picky third-generation business tycoon? It was hard to tell. Startled, Ji-cheok's brother called out to him, realizing Ji-cheok had been lost in his own world. As they continued their journey, Ji-cheok couldn't help but mull over the revelation about Jung Ji-han's family. It seemed like his father, Jung-han Gyu, the fourth son of Chairman Jung-min, was overshadowed by his talented siblings. Something fishy was going on, as an article Ji-cheok had stumbled upon had mysteriously disappeared. Perhaps the mighty Junga group had something to do with it, protecting their reputation. Amidst all the pondering, Ji-cheok finally decided to open the gift from Ji-han Jung. It appeared to be a regular watch. Ji-cheok excitedly opens up his god tube, ready to rack up some points and check out the latest appraisal skills. Money is vital for a hunter's survival, after all. You can't afford to get scammed if you stumble upon a valuable item in the dungeon. As the store page loads, he notices a significant design change. It seems bigger and more inviting. He quickly starts his search for the elusive appraisal skill. Ah, there it is. The casting time is a mere 10 seconds, and he can learn it with his current abilities. Easy peasy, right? Well, not quite. Ji-cheok's eyes widen as he sees the price tag for the coveted wise man's eyes. A whopping 100,000 points. He sighs, realizing his current stash of 108,000 points falls short. Determined to balance out his skill set, he scrolls through the options, focusing on the growth-type skills. With a mix of excitement and relief, he secures the Eye of Observation, a grade growth-type skill. It promises to unveil the essence of things, evolving into a higher level as he gains proficiency. The cost? A more manageable 1,580 points. Skill acquired. How does he actually use it? After a moment of pondering, Ji-cheok figures it out. It's as simple as thinking about what he wants to appraise, and the insights will come flooding in. With his newfound skill, he decides to put it to the test on Jung Ji-han's watch. GodTube reveals that the watch is just a plain, durable wristwatch crafted by a skilled artisan from another dimension. Waterproof and reliable, it's a perfect timepiece even for deep-sea adventures. But, disappointingly, the appraisal skill doesn't reveal any extraordinary attributes like attack or defense, just the time. Nevertheless, it's still an intriguing artifact from another realm, so Ji-cheok decides to wear it as a unique gift. Feeling a yawn coming on, he decides to check his status window to see if his hypothesis was correct. To his delight, his insight mastery receives a +3, and the beginner's bonus gets a +1. The skill's initial impact might have been modest, but with each use, it evolves and becomes more powerful. Even with adjustments to experience and item prices, the level remains fixed at 1, but he can upgrade it with the beginner's package. It's fascinating how the point-of-sale shop, with its likes-based system, differs from regular stores. Realizing that his strength doesn't solely come from hunting monsters, but also from gaining attention and likes, Ji-cheok decides to purchase a skill that top hunters on GodTube would have, the Mana Heart of Arco Dragon. This skill harnesses the heart of a magical race, the dragon, to gather mana. Intriguing, right? But wait, there's more. He also acquires the Arcane Circle of Magic Recovery, which boosts mana recovery by 200% when standing above the drawn magic circle. Plus, the Sylph's Blessing skill calls upon a group of spirits to bless him, surrounding him with a green light that amplifies his attack power and agility. Ji-cheok spends his time repeatedly using these skills to improve his proficiency. Back at his house, his bank account receives a mind-boggling deposit of 8 billion units. A call from his team leader confirms the transaction, and soon after, his brother knocks on the door, amazed at the sight of game-like money. Since they both live in rented houses, they decide it's time to find a place to live together, prioritizing a sturdy house that suits Ji-cheok's job. Just when things couldn't get any better, Ji-cheok receives a call that his written hunter examination is over. Being a former hunter assistant grants him exemption from the written test, allowing him to jump straight into the practical exams, the legendary Hunter exam, where aspiring awakeners battle their way into the esteemed agency. This high-stakes test is divided into 2 parts, a written challenge and a practical showdown. Only those who conquer both can earn their spot in the agency and embark on officially sanctioned missions under the government's watchful eye. But beware, my friends, for with great benefits come great dangers and responsibilities. But let's not forget about our hero, Ji-cheok, who finds himself in quite the pickle. Having worked as a hunter assistant before, he thought he was off the hook for the written exam. Little did he know that the assistant license test is even tougher than the hunter's written ordeal. Now poor Ji-cheok worries about hitting the books once again. It's no walk in the park, folks, especially when dealing with monster ecology, corpses, and even poison. Yikes! Luckily, the practical exam seems a bit more straightforward. All Ji-cheok has to do is head to the assigned gate and put on a show for the inspector. Simple, right? Well, as long as he doesn't mess up and cause a safety hazard, it should be a breeze. After all, they're only interested in his ability to fight and survive. Easy peasy. Or is it? We'll find out in just 2 days when Ji-cheok steps up to the challenge. Lo and behold, just when our hero thought things couldn't get any crazier, Jung Ji-han himself appears before him. That's right, folks. The cooperation agreement between Jonga Company and the trade team has ended, and Ji-cheok's caught in the middle. But fear not, for Ji-han has a proposition. If Ji-cheok spills the beans about his abilities, they'll hook him up with the perfect equipment. The more details he provides, the better the gear. Talk about a tailor-made package. Of course, if Ji-cheok prefers to keep his powers under wraps, he can do so. But Ji-han warns that secrets have a way of surfacing during battles. Better to be honest, folks. The adventure takes an unexpected turn as Ji-cheok finds himself in a serene corner of Seoul. Behold the safe house complexes where Jonga Company's hunters reside. Ji-han reveals that Daehyun Company is snatching up talented hunters left and right, and to keep their own elite team intact, Jonga has built these impressive complexes. Talk about swanky digs, folks. Ji-cheok's eyes widen at the entrance, and Ji-han offers to put him in touch with the realtor right away. After all, who wouldn't want to call this mansion home? Sure, it's not brand new, but it's got history. Apparently, the former owner tragically met his end in a dungeon. What a story, eh? Ji-cheok gets a glimpse of the late owner in a photograph, and Ji-han spills the beans about their relationship. Turns out the owner was Ji-han's uncle's right-hand man, and they had quite the rivalry going on. Sadly, the owner perished in their feud. But fear not, my friends, for this mansion is a top-notch shelter that protects the lives of hunters. It's a rare gem in the countryside, and only a select few hunters have the privilege of calling it their refuge. And the cherry on top, folks, Ji-han is even willing to cut Ji-cheok a sweet deal on the price, and since it's tax-free to buy from hunters, it's a win-win situation. With the contract in hand, Ji-cheok takes a stroll around the impressive abode before heading off to the training center. Ji-cheok learns of the need to keep their abilities hush-hush, since the center is cleverly hidden from prying eyes. Ji-cheok takes note of the impressive facility, but can't help but notice the colorful and marked sportswear worn by the hunters. These facilities are massive, rivaling those of a major corporation, and boast optimal conditions for both hunters and trainers. It's like stepping into the headquarters of a badass superhero squad. Suddenly, his brother appears out of nowhere, catching Ji-cheok off guard. Apparently, his brother didn't breathe a word about this amazing place, or even that he would be there. As he lays eyes on his brother's transformed physique, it's clear that the training has turned him into a bona fide hunter with muscles of steel. The trainer summons Mukcheok back to his rigorous training, leaving Ji-cheok to spectate. Jung Ji-han informs Ji-cheok that one day Mukcheok will spar with a hunter. No abilities will be used, just raw physical combat skills. Ji-cheok is a bit apprehensive about an ordinary person going up against a hunter, but Jung Ji-han reassures him that it's all under control. Trust the hunters, he says. Mukcheok eagerly accepts the challenge, much to Ji-cheok's relief. As they observe the sparring match, a foreign mercenary steps forward as Mukcheok's opponent. It's not easy to find a suitable match for someone as physically gifted as Mukcheok. But man, oh man, that opponent throws a punch that sends shivers down Ji-cheok's spine. The force behind it is downright terrifying. Even though the opponent won't be using any abilities, they're still a professional hunter. Yet Mukcheok doesn't flinch, not even in the face of a battle-hardened mercenary. And boy, does that opponent look surprised too. Mukcheok defies all expectations and showcases a hidden capability that catches everyone by surprise. Despite his studious appearance and recent foray into training, Mukcheok proves himself to be a force to be reckoned with. Not only has he never faced a seasoned hunter before, but he manages to land a solid blow on his foreign opponent's jaw, leaving him unable to retaliate. As Mukcheok's attacks continue to frustrate the foreigner, it becomes clear that the Jonga Company's reputation is at stake. If the foreigner were to lose to this novice, it would undoubtedly tarnish his standing within the company. Driven by desperation, the foreigner unleashes his skills and abilities as an awakener, causing Mukcheok to pass out. The astonishing turn of events leaves everyone, especially Mukcheok's infuriated brother, in disbelief. Ji-cheok rushes to his brother's side, alarmed by the sight of him coughing up blood. Determined to help, he urgently calls for medics while expressing his disbelief that his brother's opponent would resort to using his abilities when faced with defeat. The trainers try to reason that the intensity of the sparring caused an accidental use of skills, but Ji-cheok finds it hard to believe that a mistake would be accompanied by such a teasing expression. As Ji-cheok tends to his brother's injuries, applying his limited knowledge of first aid, he earns valuable proficiency experience points. However, the severity of Mukcheok's condition surpasses his expertise. The agency explains that since the foreigner is unaccustomed to sparring with ordinary individuals, controlling his abilities became became a challenge. They promised to caution him about this flaw. Soon, the rescuers arrive, prompting the onlookers to make way for Mucheok's transfer. Before parting, Jicheok makes a heartfelt promise to his unconscious brother. He will ensure that Mucheok's opponent kneels before him and sincerely apologizes. With determination in his eyes, Jicheok vows that everything will be okay. In a surprising turn of events, Jung Ji-han, remorseful for their failure to manage the situation, approaches Ji-cheok and offers his apologies. However, Ji-cheok's anger flares up when Ji-han suggests settling the matter with mere compensation. Seeking justice, Ji-cheok demands the opportunity to spar with Mucheok's opponent himself. He yearns to personally receive an apology and engage in a fair fight as an awakener. In an electrifying turn of events, the fierce battle between Mucheok and his opponent Shelton takes an unexpected twist. Shelton, known for his defensive prowess, agrees to spar with Jicheok, Mucheok's rookie teammate. However, he's not willing to simply apologize if he loses. Instead, he promises to kneel and offer his heartfelt apologies, just as Jicheok desires. To level the playing field for the newly awakened Jicheok, Shelton proposes a thrilling handicap. He allows Jicheok to initiate the first 3 combos, where weapons clash against each other. Excitement fills the air as Jicheok, armed with a wooden sword and his lightning-fast gloves, eagerly prepares for close-range combat. But there's a catch. Shelton, a defensive-type awakener with a body as strong as metal, won't block Jicheok's attacks. The thrill intensifies as Jicheok seizes this opportunity, knowing he must remain vigilant despite the handicap. With every strike, he aims to overcome Shelton's defenses, but the challenge seems daunting. The rules of the showdown are crystal clear. Surrendering or reaching a state where fighting is no longer possible leads to defeat. Stepping outside the ring is also considered a loss. With both sides agreeing to the 3-combo handicap, the tension mounts as Jicheok prepares to unleash his relentless assault. Unbeknownst to Shelton, who lacks information about Jicheok, the rookie fighter unveils a surprising move. He harnesses the blessings of Sylph, a mystical spirit that bestows incredible agility and strength upon him. The crowd erupts with excitement as Jicheok's newfound power invigorates his every movement. Despite Shelton's unwavering confidence that Jicheok won't even leave a scratch on his formidable body, he bravely allows Jicheok to continue his assault until the 3 combos are completed. Anticipation fills the arena as Jicheok, his attacks infused with the energy of wind and clouds through his wind cloud walk technique, seeks to breach Shelton's defenses. Jicheok, armed with his trusty wooden sword, faced off against the relentless onslaught of Shelton's attacks. With lightning-fast reflexes, he gracefully dodged every punch and maneuver, leaving everyone around them in awe. It was hard to believe that Jicheok was just a beginner, showcasing such extraordinary skills. Shelton, underestimating Jicheok's close combat abilities, failed to gain an upper hand. Realizing that he couldn't block all of Shelton's punches, Jicheok devised a clever strategy. He targeted the weak spots in Shelton's iron body, aiming to deliver a decisive blow using a volley of precisely aimed arrows. As the fight reached its climax, Shelton found himself unable to continue. Concerned spectators intervened, fearing Jicheok's potential to deliver a fatal blow. Despite their best efforts, calming down Jicheok proved to be a challenge. It was only when the team leader stepped in, restraining and soothing him, that the situation finally settled. During his recovery, Jicheok overheard the astonished whispers of onlookers. They couldn't fathom that this seemingly ordinary rookie had emerged as an unstoppable opponent. Regardless of whether he possessed any innate talent or extraordinary skills, Jicheok's movements and defensive blocks were nothing short of incredible. His experience and intuition in selecting the right skills at the right time were truly remarkable. Those who had witnessed the battle were left in disbelief, wondering if Jicheok was somehow protected by a divine entity. How else could he have seamlessly utilized a combination of spirit skills, shadow skills at the same time? Jung Ji-han's sister, Biga Jung, makes an unexpected entrance. Born out of wedlock, she was the prodigious child of the second son of Jongga Company and the foremost mechanical master in Seoul. Biga Jong had reached the pinnacle of mechanical magic, and she wowed everyone with her latest creation, a stealth-equipped drone. To Jung Ji-han's surprise, his sister appeared out of nowhere and found herself captivated by the intense battle between Jicheok and Shelton. However, there was a catch. Ji-han's sister desired both Jicheok and Mucheok, but they were bound by their grandfather's rule. Family members were off limits for romantic pursuits. Biga Jong possessed a remarkable spy drone, capable of revealing detailed information and skills of individuals. She was astounded by Jicheok's abilities and his possession of a Class B awakening stone. With her support, Jicheok had the potential to maximize his powers, which greatly excited her. The trio, Jicheok, Jung Ji-han, and Biga Jong, decided to visit the emergency medical center to check on Mucheok's condition. Biga Jong possessed a unique ability to breathe life into machines and living beings. Her genius in magic engineering allowed even non-awakened individuals to utilize their dormant abilities. According to a theory, The awakening stone responded more strongly to desperate individuals, and human happiness played a crucial role in unlocking one's true potential. Bigajong devised a plan to awaken Mucheok, even though his body wasn't fully prepared. Craftily, Bigajong convinced Jicheok that Mucheok was physically ready for awakening. Grateful for her help, Jicheok thanked her and offered his assistance in return. In response, Bigajong asked for two simple things as expiation. Firstly, she wanted Jicheok to personally remind Jongjihan to keep his promise. Secondly, she proposed the creation of a mukbang cooking channel on YouTube with Jicheok's younger brother, where they would willingly invest their time and money. The conditions of the contract were favorable, as Bigajong believed that people would be captivated by the simple act of watching them eat, even if it was just chocolate pie. Mucheok, a brave soul, boldly volunteered to be Bigajong's human experiment. He craved unparalleled strength, even though the procedure was risky and not approved by the country, meaning no insurance coverage. Talk about living life on the edge. Now picture this. Mucheok had a dream where he and his brother appeared as adorable little versions of themselves. In the dream, he was desperately hungry and clung to Jicheok, begging for some delicious ham. Being the awesome brother that he is, Jicheok quickly whipped up a scrumptious ham and cut it into pieces, trying to satisfy Mucheok's hunger. But hold on tight because things took a bizarre turn. The ham suddenly transformed into something strange, and poof, Jicheok vanished into thin air. Imagine Mucheok's confusion and panic as he found himself in a rapidly solidifying place, with a mysterious creature lurking about. He sprinted frantically, desperately calling out for his brother, clueless about what to do next. Just when things seemed hopeless, an eccentric old man sporting a fancy Macintosh coat strutted onto the scene. He skeptically questioned whether a young chap like Mucheok could access the enigmatic Akashic records. As luck would have it, since Mucheok had reached the land of righteousness, he was entitled to receive a special gift. With a heart full of desperation, Mucheok pleaded for anything that could aid him in locating his lost brother. However, the old man revealed a shocking truth. Mucheok's origin from ink made it tricky to assist him with the singularity conundrum. Nevertheless, this wise yet quirky fellow conjured up a mesmerizing power from his hand, causing Mucheok to vanish from sight. Mucheok woke up, his mind filled with the euphoria of success. Bigajong's elation was evident as she saw Mucheok return from his first test, the initial experiment having gone splendidly. She couldn't help but ask if he had encountered the old man, leading Mucheok to realize that what he experienced was more than just a dream. To his surprise, when Bigajong scanned him, he received an unexpected A grade. Inside the training chamber, Jongjihan enlightened Mucheok about the remarkable powers hidden within the records of the Abyss Library. These scripts could be used to launch powerful attacks against enemies or provide aid to allies. Eager to test his own skills and unsure of their effectiveness, Mucheok decided to demonstrate them to Jongjihan. Nervous but determined, he gave it his all. As Mucheok conversed innocently with the team leader, Jicheok sensed that his younger brother was concealing something. Like a writer and artist, Jicheok encouraged him to express what was on his mind. Mucheok followed his advice, practicing and drawing the vivid images that flowed through his thoughts. In doing so, he began to manifest the power of Iron Body, inspired by Shelton's skills. Feeling his body harden like steel, Mucheok marveled at the incredible ability he had recorded in his mind. Though he could only recognize a few scripts at this early stage: Iron Body, Haste, Dense, and Light, Jongjihan recognized Mucheok's immense potential, even if it wasn't enough for an A grade. Jincheok noticed a peculiar look on his brother's face, as if he were pretending innocence or harboring a hidden secret. Perhaps Jongjihan hadn't explicitly revealed everything. Nevertheless, Jincheok chose not to argue with the leader, acknowledging that he was still an A-grade awakener. Surprising the siblings, Mucheok requested the contract to be signed, despite them being unaware of its contents. While Jongjihan expected Mucheok to reject the contract, deeming the training unfair, Mucheok viewed it as a fair distribution of rights and interests between both parties. Moreover, Mucheok saw signing the contract as advantageous, as it would allow him to accompany his brother Jincheok into dangerous dungeons. They would ride together and face whatever challenges lay ahead, side by side. For Mucheok, the primary focus was his newfound status as an official awakener, having achieved an A grade in an instant. Jincheok admired his brother's reasoning, even if it meant signing the contract without full knowledge of its terms. Arguing further about the contract seemed futile. Jongjihan, the team leader, prepared the contract and inquired about Mucheok's condition, as he was due to to take a hunter examination, which commenced with a written test. Muchiak confidently assured him that he had never scored poorly in any examination before. Jinchiak, always the high achiever in national rankings, provided further reassurance, putting Muchiak's worries at ease. With his background as a law student from Korea's finest university, Young Jihan concurred that Muchiak had nothing to worry about. Jinchiak's happiness increased, having dominated Shelton and showcasing exceptional skills without sustaining any injuries. Muchiak was astounded by his brother's skill and abilities. Before we continue, let's take a moment to shout out Anime Edits YTS, who commented, "Hey bro, on our Boss Reincarnates video, thanks for commenting." After all the crazy events that unfolded, Muchiak was still scratching his head, trying to make sense of the mysterious letter he received, dubbed Chaos. So he turned to his brother, Jinchuk, and asked him how many gods had contacted him. Jinchuk, utterly baffled by his brother's question, wondered aloud what the letter had to do with Muchiak. It dawned on him that perhaps this was the reason why gods related to his own abilities had been reaching out to him. Muchiak, curious if Jinchuk had experienced anything similar with gods showing interest in him, inquired about his brother's encounters. Jinchuk shared that initially, a few gods had reached out, but later, he only received a note stating that they were checking the system and that he should wait for a new patch. He also advised Muchiak that the ability system itself had always been strange from the beginning. Jinchuk suggested they grab a bite to eat, but Muchiak couldn't shake the feeling that the system was intentionally blocking him from contacting other gods. This confused Jinchuk, and he pressed for an explanation. However, Muchiak backtracked and withdrew his words, realizing how unlikely it was. He didn't want to burden his brother with his thoughts, especially since there was no specific name popping up on his system. But the gods who had chosen Muchiak all seemed connected to a mysterious figure called Four Eyes Record the Truths, whom they suspected to be Changji due to the related messages. Changji was rumored to have invented the Chinese writing system and was considered a powerful god, even referred to as a deity. Although his true identity remained a mystery, one thing was clear. Changji held immense power, and Muchiak might gain a skill related to Chinese characters. This meant there was great potential for Muchiak's awakening to reach an A-class level. Discussing the gods further, Jinchiak playfully wondered if he could acquire ancient magic skills from the god of magic in Egypt, known as Thoth. Muchiak, having discovered the hieroglyphs of Egypt, believed it was possible, given Thoth's association with knowledge and magic. Jinchiak couldn't believe the fascinating connection between the Chaos Letter and the Asian gods reaching out to his brother. One particular god, Huang Hui, was especially familiar to both brothers because whenever Hangul, the Korean writing system, was mentioned, they couldn't help but think of him. Muchiak also learned that even non-gods had the ability to choose a hunter. With Egyptian hieroglyphs, ancient Chinese Hanja, and Hangul in the mix, Muchiak was left wondering about Jinchiak's own abilities. Jinchiak had heard legends of how an ordinary human couldn't challenge the power of a god, but the brothers had to make a choice. Muchiak was set on selecting King Sejong, the creator of Hangul, as his god, since they were currently using characters invented by King Sejong. It made sense to receive a bonus for any actions related to Hangul. Jinchiak agreed, recognizing the advantage of having abilities aligned with their own culture. Besides, Muchiak felt an inexplicable pull to follow King Sejong. A few weeks passed, and the day of the practical hunter examination arrived in Seoul. The venue was crowded with reporters, eager to cover the event. Muchiak anticipated that the whole country must be curious about Jinchik, the rookie awakener who effortlessly sparred with Shelton and became a viral sensation. It was clear that Jinchik had gained admiration and popularity from countless people, as evidenced by the endless stream of likes on his video. To their surprise and delight, the CEO himself made an appearance at the venue. The CEO happily informed Jinchuk that his video had reached the top spot in the recommended videos list. Admiring Jinchuk's ability to captivate the nation with every move, the CEO expressed his high expectations. Jinchuk hadn't expected his video to go viral or the consequences of his newfound fame. He knew life wouldn't be peaceful anymore. Jeonjong, seizing this opportunity, had devised a plan. With Jinchuk's video going viral, they now had a valid reason to remove Shelton, who had caused numerous problems despite being a mediocre hunter. Even Jinchuk's uncle agreed that it was for the best. Jeonjong saw the situation as advantageous because everyone's attention was now focused on Jinchuk. The CEO noticed numerous fans of Jinchuk, belonging to a fan club amusingly named Index Finger, and even took a photo with them. The joy Jinchuk experienced exceeded their expectations, and Jeonjong had high hopes for him. As the examination coordinator announced that the candidates could proceed to the examination room, Jinchuk was about to leave when Jeonjong stopped him. He had brought someone from Jongjin, branch company of the Jonga family, who might be able to assist Jinchuk during the hunter's exam. Jinchuk couldn't fathom why he would need help, but Jeonjong introduced a staff member who could potentially be a valuable asset. Suddenly, memories of Jinchuk's days as a hunter's assistant, merely cleaning up monster carcasses, flooded his mind. Now, an incredible opportunity had presented itself, and Jinchuk was determined to pass the hunter's examination. On examination day, the air buzzes with nervous energy as everyone anxiously awaits their turn, but none more so than Jinchuk. His nerves are reaching unexpected heights, making him a bundle of jitters. As the examiners shuffle into the changing room, they transform into their sleek inspection suits, ready to embark on their assigned tasks in the inspection room. In this space, the hunters' bodies will undergo a basic inspection, including tests for lung capacity and eyesight. Now it's Jinchuk's turn to step into the basic inspection room. Curiosity piqued. He can't help but wonder about the mysterious contraption he's about to encounter. With a mix of anticipation and confusion, he queries the inspector about the machine's purpose. To his surprise, the inspector reveals that it measures a hunter's strength. But what does that mean? Is it a measure of levels or total stats? Jinchuk's mind races with questions. Instructed to lie still for a minute, Jinchuk finds himself in a moment of puzzlement. He wants to understand what the inspector means, but the only response he receives is a directive to remain motionless until instructed otherwise. The next phase awaits. The practical test. In the waiting room, hunters select suits appropriate for the upcoming test, while those without personal suits don the basic ones provided. Jinchuk's mind wanders, questioning the preparedness of the company in providing suits for the participants. Just as his thoughts are interrupted, someone calls out to him. It's a girl, asking if the basic inspection is complete, because CEO Jian Zhang has something to give Jinchuk. Appreciative yet unsure, Jinchuk accepts the unexpected gift. The girl explains that it's an officially approved test suit made from the resilient skin of a black ogre and crafted by a renowned Italian artisan. While he humbly receives the present, Jinchuk can't help but think that Jian Zhang's extravagant gesture was unnecessary. But the girl isn't done yet. She also hands him a watch, assuring him that it's in perfect condition to wear. Jinchuk examines the watch, expecting more than meets the eye from an item originating in another world. However, he concludes that its only notable quality is its durability, designed to withstand impact. Nonetheless, he appreciates the sentiment behind the gifts. In the waiting room for the practical test, participants don their suits, feeling a comfortable fit that instills confidence. Jinchuk notices that many others have also brought their own suits, prepared for this momentous occasion. Amidst the preparations, a scene unfolds. A furious official berates an innocent-looking man, gripping him with a single hand and scolding him for a simple mistake involving ice and a drink. Frustration fills the official's voice as he condemns his colleagues, declaring their insufferable attitudes. Unable to bear witness to such aggression, Jinchuk steps in to defuse the situation, fearing for the innocent man's safety. Ignoring the official's demand to know his identity, Jinchuk pleads for mercy, reminding the official that the man's identity is inconsequential. The official's anger flares, convinced that everyone is out to provoke him, and he confronts Jinchuk, questioning if he knows who he is. Without hesitation, Jinchuk places his hand on the official's arm, urging him to release the innocent man. Surprisingly, the official acknowledges Jinchuk's impressive stats, having seen his skills in a Shelton video. As tension mounts, the official abruptly sets fire to the innocent man. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.